We're going to sample all the 4 different meals today, and you can see which ones you like. You can create them at home, and our Chef Dusti, who's going to be coming out shortly, she's getting some things wrapped up. She can tell you how she got creative with spices and cutting back on fat but still giving flavor to the food. These dishes are quick, so you can prepare them quickly and relatively low in cost. So we're really hoping today that you guys can get some ideas on how to make quick meals that are high in protein. You can see portion sizes. You can ask questions to the chef as to how she was creative with spices or fat, and I'm sure she'll give a little bit of that when she's up here doing her food demonstration. She's actually going to cook the tilapia up front here, so you guys can all see how that's a quickly prepared dish.
So I got my pork flakes, I put them in a baggie, I got a rolling pin, and I just rolled them out. And then what I did, I actually took some parsley. I used all my oregano, so I don't have that to demonstrate, but I used all my oregano in the dish. But I took parsley, oregano, and just a little bit of paprika. And then I put the shredded Parmesan cheese in it, just a bit, to give it some little crunch. So I should demonstrate this while I'm doing this. So what I did, I'm going to show you what I did. Okay. This is actually the base. And this has leeks in it, and not onions, because leeks are it's an onionly flavor, but it's not as harsh. Okay? Are you guys familiar with leeks? Yeah. Okay, so you know that when you get a leek, you have to cut it down the center and cut off the base and open it up and wash it, because a lot of times dirt will become encrusted inside in between the layers, because there's layers of it. So you want to make sure that you wash the leek really, really well. And after you wash them and you cut them in, so you're going to cut it like this, okay? You're going to open it up. You're just going to use the white part of it. And see, this is where the dirt gets caught up, you see? So it's really imperative that you actually rinse that out, and as you cut it, it's going to come out in like a ring. I hope you guys can all see this. Like this. Okay? It's going to come out in a ring. And this is going to be part of your base, along with green pepper and a red pepper. Because these are like your sweet peppers. So what you're going to do, you're going to cut these down the center. You're going to take all your seeds out. And you're going to cut it in strips, not diced. You're going to cut it in very thin strips, because this is cooking at such a high temperature. You want to make sure that they cook and they release their moisture as quickly as possible. So that's why it's imperative that you cut them not big, but thin strips, so your moisture will just come right out. Okay? So you're going to, because from what I've read, your stomachs can tolerate a lot of spiciness, so you have a good seasoning. It's not what I would want, because I like really spicy stuff, but when I was cooking it, I kept in mind what you had to deal with. Okay, so this is very, very low seasoning, but you have a flavor. You can have a life. Everybody likes a flavor of some sort. So this water in it, okay, just to kind of stretch the egg and not make it so rich or so thick. And this is going to be your base, which is going to help your coating adhere to the chicken.
So could they use like an egg substitute?
You can use an egg substitute.
Okay.
Yeah,
so for those of you that may have high cholesterol, an egg substitute would be a good alternative.
I went to Whole Wheatery, and I saw this. So I think mine tastes better though. But you can also just buy it and probably add the shredded Parmesan to it, because I think the Parmesan is really important, because it not only helps it crisp up a little bit, but it has a really nice texture. Yeah, and flavor to it. Yeah, flavor. We're all about flavor, right? So you're going to take this, and because you have this egg on it, and just pat it in. Just pat it in. Chicken that you're going to have. I put it on the grill, but I put it on that non-stick aluminum foil, and that, when it starts to release its juices, it was in the juice, so it kept it moist. So you don't really need that as long as you're keeping it on that foil. If you put it just suggest that even though the ratatouille and doctor said that you could eat the casing because that's zucchini, I did cook the zucchini and I took the inside out. So your inside is part of the ratatouille. And I used it as a cup, just for presentation, you know. Yes.
Is there another fish that you can use besides tilapia?
You can use any fish you like. I prefer tilapia because it's inexpensive and it's also quick to cook. It's quick to cook, but halibut would be good. That's going to take a little longer because it's thick. So you have to do your timing accordingly. But make sure if you're going to use the vegetables, make sure you do it at a high heat, like 425, and just take your temperature.
So the vegetables go into a hot pan?
Yes, no, the vegetables go on the bottom of the pan and your fish go on top of that. You see what I'm saying? It goes just like this. This is how it's going to look. Let me pass this around.
Do you bake it in a Pyrex?
You can bake it in the Pyrex. You can bake it in the Pyrex.
Or bake non-stick foil?
You don't have to use the non-stick foil because you got your vegetables. I mean, you can if you want to eat the vegetables because that could be part of your dish. But
how many grams of fat and carbohydrate and protein can you have per meal? And so for you all, you want at least 20 grams of protein with each meal, less than 10 grams of carbohydrate, less than 5 grams of sugar, and less than 15 grams of fat for each meal. Now that's really for the Bruin-Y gastric bypass. Those are the restrictions for that. With the sleeve and the lap band, you can tolerate more sugar and more carbohydrate. I always say it's best to just stick with that because the less carbohydrate and the less sugar you have, even if you do have a sleeve or a lap band, it's going to be fewer calories in your overall meal. So if you stick with those guidelines, that's more or less what you should have with each meal.
Raquel, say it again.
Okay, it's 20 grams of protein, less than 5 grams of sugar, less than 10 grams of carbohydrate, and less than 15 grams of fat. So it's the 5, 10, 15 rule. I just said it all out of order. Yeah.
That's per meal.
Yes, per meal. So if you figure 20 grams per each meal, 20 times 3 is 60. We want you guys to at least get 80 to 100 grams. Where are you going to get the other 20 to 40? Those are going to be where your protein-rich snacks come into play. So you want to make sure like you're having a Greek yogurt or you're having a string cheese.
Ground beef, but I had turkey meat. I have the family on it. Can you do the same thing?
I would imagine so.
Yeah.
I would imagine so. Cherry, you probably do cranberries. Yeah, cranberries with the turkey. Yes.
Can you use frozen cherries?
You probably can. You probably can. I just did cherries because they were in season.
Yeah.
And I figured that would be enough to bind it, and actually have it a nice flavor. And then I decided, well, since I'm doing this with the meatballs, let's tie it together and put it in the guacamole.
Yeah.
So I put it in the guacamole too. Originally, I was going to put some green onions in it, some scallions. But as I tasted it, and I think that might be on your menu or on your recipes, the scallions.
Yeah.
I didn't put them in. I didn't put them in because as I tasted it, I thought it might need a little bit of something to kind of punch it, but it didn't need it. I think as you go on, since you like this, as you go on and you're further down the road, this would be the menu, the recipe that you could do ultimately. But before you get to that point, just do the cherries, leave out the scallions, leave out the chili, and you see it's still very satisfying. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, one more. Okay. I'd like to thank you so much for your input. I feel like I'm on a new quest here.
Recipes and ideas. Again, I encourage you to check out the bariatriceating.com website for more recipe ideas. And you guys can just get creative and start cooking and having fun in the kitchen. One other thing I just want to let you know, our next support group is going to be August 25th with Dr. Gatt, and she's going to be going over jealousy and self-esteem. So again here, 5 p.m. August 25th with Dr. Gatt. Thank you all for coming again.